Welcome back to Black Bear Forge. Today I'm working on another style of chest handles. The other day we looked at a heart-shaped back plate with a ring that was peened over in the back to hold the handle together, a very traditional looking handle and an approach to doing it. Today we're going to look at something a little simpler with a plug welded loop that holds the handle in place, and it's just going to have a plain rectangular back plate. This is 1/8 inch material. It is 2 inches by 4 3/4 inches. These are just the measurements I use. You can make your handles to suit your project. That's about 120 millimeters long and roughly 50 millimeters wide. And I'm going to use the same material as we did with the other handles. I actually have handles made, but we'll go through making one anyways. And this is 3/8 of an inch diameter. So 3/8 is 9-10 millimeters, I guess. And it's about 200 millimeters long, or just under 8 inches long. This set of handles is going to go with that same order that we were making the Dutch tool chest hinges and the hasp for, and these will all go together as one order. But while I'm at it, I'm going to make an extra set. I'm going to take that to an upcoming Lee Nielsen hand tool event, so I'll have something there for sale. So it's time for me to get to work and make another chest handle. If you hear the racket in the background, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that is the tumbler tumbling some holdfasts to knock all the scale off of them, and hopefully that won't be too annoying during the video. Since this set of chest handles is really so similar to the previous set of chest handles, I'm going to go through this rather quickly today. I probably won't explain every single step in the process or show some of the alternatives that I showed the last time. So if you're interested in all that stuff, I'll put a link to that other video on chest handles right up here. But it starts off just the same with a taper in the handle. And of course the taper starts off as a square. Now previously I have filed 2 little decorative lines in the handle right at the center. And I know that I want this from one line to the edge of the anvil when it's done. So that's probably as far as I want to go square. Next heat we'll go octagon and then round, and that should bring us right to the edge of the anvil. And then we'll go to octagon. And then we'll round it up. At this point, I'm mostly just trying to smooth it and take any obvious lumps and bumps out. That's even with my line, that's even with that edge. Just what I'm after. And I'm going to just bend the last 1/2 inch or so. That's the little up kick that will keep the handle from flipping all the way up when you're using it. Do the same thing to the other end. But while that is heating up, I'm going to take my back plate that we previously cut. I'm just going to run a little bevel around it. I think it just makes it look better. And make sure it's straight, flat, and let that cool. And we'll repeat all that for the opposite end. There's square, now octagon. I think we'll round it up in another heat though. It's getting a bit cold. Now it's just a matter of rounding it up. And then keeping an eye on my measurement as I do so I don't stretch it too far. And of course this gets the 1/2 inch bend. They get in the same plane as the first bend. And try and make sure they look the same. Looks really funny if one's longer and one's shorter. The exact length doesn't matter so much, just make them the same. I'm going to bend this in this little jig that's made just for making handles. I've got a little line-up mark for my decorative file mark there. And just bend that around there. And that does one end. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the other end. I'm more concerned with lining my mark up than I am making it fit the jig. This second circle on this side is really kind of useless. That's pretty much what I want there. You'll notice it's not perfectly straight, so I'm going to go to the vise to straighten that. You don't have to have a jig like this. You can do this over the horn of the anvil. You can make a bending fork. You can make a more simple jig that looks more like this one. Just whatever it is you want to use. It's then quite easy to just put this in the vise. Take a look at the parts that don't quite line up right. And make them line up with the other ones. That's our handle. Odds are you need 2 of these for a chest of some sort. The next thing we need are 4 of these little staples or keepers or loops or whatever you want to call them. These are made out of 3/16 round bar. We'll just take a quick look at making one of them, but you'll need 4, 2 for each handle. Generally, I'll do about a dozen of these at a time, so I've got enough for several sets of handles. Then I just go over a bending fork made from the right size material, in this case 3/8, which is the same size as our handle. I just use that as kind of a little mandrel to form this over and make sure it's nice parallel edges. Then we'll cut it off after it cools. Those are all the component parts for our chest handles. So we just need to let everything cool, and then it'll be time to start drilling some holes in the back plate, and then we'll assemble it. This is really a fairly straightforward set of handles. Because I make these fairly often, I have a master pattern, and I just set that on top of the plate. Use a pair of vice grips, clamp it down. Then I use a transfer punch, and transfer punches come in all the same sizes as your drill bits, but instead of being drill bits, they're a little center punch. So this is one that just fits the hole. And you have to be fairly gentle with these smaller ones because they bend. And this one has been bent and straightened so many times it just barely does one plate before it starts to bend again. So I punch fairly gentle, light holes, and then come back with a regular center punch and deepen them so I can find them better. Then we can put those holes in. In this case, they're all 3/16 holes, because that's both the size of these loops that will go in these holes. I use number 8 wood screws, and they take a 3/16 hole as well. This is a great place for the Whitney punch. certainly drill holes in this. And you could hot punch holes in this. But again, this is sort of a production item, so I've got things set up that make it go a little bit faster and smoother. But in any case, I still need to countersink all these holes, and that we will do over at the drill press. Because I took the time to forge a bevel on the plate, there's a front side and there's a back side without the bevel. The screw holes all get countersunk on the front side. The holes for the staples get countersunk on the back side for a plug weld. It's really the pits if you get that wrong. And it pays to double check your countersink for the screws to make sure the screws fit properly. But the countersinks on the back aren't that critical. So I keep a screw over here by the drill press so I can double check those. And you need to do that to both plates if you're making a pair of handles. It is now time to assemble our handles. I've got 4 handles, 4 back plates, and 8 of the little staples. So that's going to make 2 full sets of chest handles. And I generally use the vise to go ahead and assemble these. It gives me a nice, comfortable height to work at. Plus these staples seem like they're never quite right. They almost always need to be shrunk up a little bit. And I can just squeeze them in the vise a little and make them fit the handle, or fit the holes. And once they start in, you can just tap them in. You do want these loose enough that the handle will turn, so don't tap them in too tight. But if it doesn't quite go in, I just squeeze it in the vise jaw. Try it again. And that's really all there is to it. Now this should be enough material. I weld with a torch, but if you use a TIG torch, or you could use a MIG welder. If you use a MIG welder, you probably need to grind these off because you're going to fill it with MIG wire. But that's more than enough material to act as my filler rod to fill that depression that I put in with the countersink. So I go ahead and do all of these, get them all ready, and then I take them over to the other vise where the torch is, and I go ahead and weld them up. To guarantee that I don't have things pinned too tight to move, I put some little spacers in. These are made from 16 gauge sheet metal. That seems to be just enough extra space. I try to make sure everything's standing straight up and down. And then I go ahead and weld these with a torch. So now if everything works out just right, because those spacers kept this loose, that handle should pivot just fine. Next thing I need to do, I'm going to let this cool, then I'm going to make sure my welds are ground flush in the back. So with that ground flush, I'm just going to give it a good wire brushing. Help blend everything together. And then on one handle from each pair, I'll go ahead and put my touch mark on it. And of course, this is your chance to make sure it works smoothly. If it doesn't, just like most things that pivot, if you move it back and forth, you'll probably free it up. But because of that spacer I put in when I weld it, it does okay. And it's normal for these to be a little loose side to side, but they don't tend to move once they're installed much, unless you tip the chest up on its side. And as I mentioned, one of these gets the touch mark. I don't think it's necessary for both of them to, if there's 2 handles on one piece. And I check it for straight and make sure that didn't bow the back plate. And here are the chest handles with the rectangular back plate. The handle is exactly the same as the ones we did on the heart. It's just the back plate and the way it's attached that are different. I think that's 3 different versions of chest handles or chest lifts that we've looked at in the last month. So we're probably not going to do any more of these for a while. I'm sure some other design, some other style, some other approach to the problem may present itself, and eventually we'll probably look at some more of these. But since there are 3 videos on chest handles, I think I'll probably create a playlist, and I'll link to that at the very end of this video, just on chest handles, or maybe I'll just make it on handles and we'll include cabinet handles, chest handles, barn door handles, and all those other handles that we may have done. But we'll see what mood I'm in when I get around to editing and uploading the video. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Take some time, watch a few of the other videos, share the videos with your friends, but then by all means, make time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, but stay safe, wear your safety glasses, and we'll see you for the next one.